you want to know how these 1928 marshmallows turned out? Well, join me as I follow a recipe from the Delineator Cookbook from 1928, and we will discover what these are like. Marshmallows. They look so yummy. Really delicious. So the first step of our 1928 marshmallows is mixing together our gelatin and cold water, which I have here already in the mixer. So let's move on to making the sugar syrup, and we'll come back to this in a moment. So over here on the stove, we have some water here and we have sugar. The amounts of everything will be in the description down below with the full recipe. But I'm going to pour this in here, and we're going to stir that up and let it get to softball stage, or 238 degrees, which is on this candy thermometer here. So I'll come back when it is boiling and getting near that point, and then we'll move on with a recipe. So the sugar syrup is starting to boil and it's getting closer to the softball stage. So I'm gonna start getting the mixer ready. I have put a little bit of vanilla and salt into the gelatin and water mixture in there. So once this syrup is ready, we will be using that mixer to make our marshmallows. So we'll move on over there in just a moment. So we have our syrup ready to go here. It's very hot. So we're going to turn on the mixer and get our marshmallows going. So I'll come back in just a moment when this is a little fluffier. So as you can see, it's thickening up a little bit, but we're going to make sure it's really nice and thick and the bowl has cooled down at the bottom. So we're getting closer now. You can see it looks like fluffy marshmallow, but we're going to keep mixing. So our marshmallow mixture is ready. You can see it is super thick and it's cooled down a bit. So let's move on to the next step in our yummy marshmallow recipe. So the next step is to get the marshmallows into these pans. I actually made a double batch because I wanted to make some cherry marshmallows. So I chopped up 5 or 6 maraschino cherries and kind of dried them off a little bit. And then the rest are just traditional vanilla. So this mixture is very sticky. So what we did is I buttered these pans and then put the confectioner sugar on there, and then we're also going to dust the top. Now this recipe actually says to just use a whisk and a bowl, and I cannot imagine how long that would take. But I wanted to point out that I found out that in 1928 the KitchenAid Model G came out, and so if you had electricity in your home, you could have had one of those mixers. It was very expensive. It costs $111, which would be about $2,000 today. So you would have had to been a pretty rich household to have one of those. But we're lucky to have a mixer here to help us make these marshmallows. Now I'm going to put about half of this mixture in as plain marshmallows, and then the other half I'm going to mix with the cherry. So let's get a little bit more in this pan and get that smoothed out. It's a little tough because I don't want to touch it. It's very sticky. But we're just going to do the best we can here And we want to dust the top with confectioner's sugar here. These are going to be really pretty homemade marshmallows. And over here, I'm going to add in the cherries, which I think will be really pretty spring kind of Easter color. Probably, ooh, yeah, that's definitely going to be pink. Let me know in the comments down below if you like marshmallows, if you like to just eat them, or if you like to use them for s'mores, if you like marshmallow peeps for Easter. I would love to know if you're a marshmallow fan and what you use them for, and if you've ever made marshmallows. Well, here we are with the cherry. I think next time I would add more cherries in, but I think it's going to add a little bit of flavor. So we are going to be setting these out overnight to set. And in just a moment, after I get this settled, we're going to take a quick look at the book, and I've got another fun 1928 food fact for you, so stay tuned. And I'll see you in a moment. So let's take a look at the 1928 cookbook where this marshmallow recipe is. And this is a Delineator Cookbook. And it was from a home institute where they taught different cooking techniques and things like that. So it is a treasure trove of recipes and photos. It's just amazing how extensive it is. And I love the candy section here. Here are marshmallows. The recipe will be in the description down below. And I love how it has variations. So it says chopped nuts, dates, figs, raisins, or candied cherries. That's where I got that idea, but you could put other dried fruits. You can roll marshmallows in coconut, which I may do. You could even use different extracts like almond or coconut or orange or other flavors. And it said you can also dip them in chocolate, which would be a yummy Easter treat. So let me know what you think about this. And as we take a look at some of the photos, here are some pickles and relishes. I wanted to share with you that in 1928, sliced bread was actually invented in Missouri. So that is another fun fact from this year. So I will see you when the marshmallows are done. I'm going to show you one sneak peek of them before we let them set overnight. So you can see our marshmallows. This is a pretty pink one here. These are ready to set overnight, and then we'll be cutting and tasting them. So stay tuned for the cutting and tasting with the family and see what we think of these homemade creations. Stay tuned, see you in a bit. Hey, so it is the next day and we have our finished marshmallows. They look so yummy, really delicious. So I thought that we would cut these up a little bit. So let us see what these cherry ones look like. I'm very curious. They're really big, thick marshmallows, so a little bit sticky to get out of the pan. So I'm probably gonna roll these in sugar later, but take a look. It looks so yummy. And there's a little chunk of cherry in there. Smells really good. I'm gonna save this for the family tasting with my husband and son. We'll try these. But I am going to roll this one in coconut. I can also do the same thing with the plain ones. But wherever there's a sticky part, some of the coconut will stick to that. So I would love to know what you think. Take a look at the little chunk there. And we are going to do the family tasting next. So I will see you there. Got the family here to try some 1928 marshmallows.
Is that
These
flavored?
ones have cherry.
Oh, I want a
A
cherry
little bit
one.
of cherry.
They're all
well,
cherry
they're
ones?
all cherry, yeah.
Okay.
Next time I think I'll add more cherry, but let's taste it.
Mm.
Mmm. Mmm. Mmm.
Honestly,
Super fluffy.
like the first marshmallow I've had in a long time that actually is tasty.
Yeah.
It's not just, sugar goo. It actually tastes
Yum.
almost
What do you
like
think?
I'm approved.
Awesome.
Almost like a meringue. It's really
Yeah,
good.
this is something I would actually eat.
Mhm.
Like,
Very
for
sweet.
real.
Very tasty.
So good. Thanks, guys. Check it out. So yummy. Give it a try.